A few years ago, again, I was at the Banff Center. I promise I don't live there. I just seem to be there a lot. And while I was there, I was actually writing an album with my bandmates. And we were about to go and do, all of the artists who were there in residence, we were all working, we were working on our individual projects, but it's a beautiful thing when you put a room or a group of artists all together, and while they're doing their individual projects, we're still able to come together and create and have conversations and meals, and it's very inspiring, and you get to be a part of other people's stories and share those sentiments and so on. And it's a beautiful exchange that takes place. And while we were there, the trials for two men that were accused of murdering two Indigenous youth were taking place. And at this time, these men were both acquitted. This was Gerald Stanley and Raymond Cormier. And while we were there, this acquittal was announced, and it was announced right before we were about to go on stage. And my dear friend who was there with us is from Red Pheasant Reserve, which is where one of the youth is from. And it was this moment in time where he and I looked at each other, and we were the only Indigenous people as a part of this residency at the time. And I felt all of the air in the room leave, and we just had this, I can't even describe it. We just looked at each other and the whole world stopped. And the rage that filled from my toes up through my head and out into the ether was so overwhelming. And I realized in that moment that this anger and rage that I had in me was chipping away at my soul. And how I wanted to be a part of sharing with people who might not know these stories, who might not have heard of these names, who might not have heard of these experiences that Indigenous people are constantly experiencing and surviving here in this territory, on this land, was I wanted to find a way to offer people a sense of our humanity, my heart, my soul, the part that loves my nieces and nephew, that loves the children of all of my friends, that thinks that this isn't an Indigenous problem, this is a people problem, because we have to take care of our children. And by our children, I mean our children. And I was always taught that, as Cree people, we're taught that we're descendants of the star people. So when you look up in the sky and you see shooting stars, you're seeing the movement of spirit between the walking world and the sky world, and I have held that in my heart. So this next song goes out to all of our children. May they be protected by all of our hearts. And for the ones who've made it back to the sky, little